This is JC Setting the Record Straight podcast. I'm your host, JC. On this channel, we set the record straight. That means we fact check and correct commonly believed misinformation and propaganda. I recently did a video in which I discussed how black men are not resting in their femininity, but are actually running from their feminine side. Carl Jung referred to this as having a negative anima. Now, Dr. Von Franz, which I'm going to play the clip in just a minute, referred to this as having a split anima. It essentially means the same thing. Both refer to men not having a healthy relationship with their feminine side. Now, not having a healthy relationship with one's feminine side does not mean that men are automatically going to be masculine. Instead, men who have a negative anima tend to display toxic femininity. Additionally, having a negative anima prevents men from having empathy for women, relating to women, and seeing them as complete human beings. So I'm going to play this clip from Dr. Von Franz, and then I'm going to break down what it all means.
Dr. Von Franz, we said earlier that a man with the mother complex fantasizes on an ideal woman who will fulfill his fantasies, gratify all his infantile desires. He wants a girl just like the girl that married dear old dad. How does that mother complex affect his personal relationships with a woman?
When a man has a mother complex, he's generally a split anima. Namely, on one side, his feminine side is, he worships the feminine image too much. It's a kind of Virgin Mary or feminine Holy Ghost figure, the pure, wonderful woman, so to speak. And the other is the prostitute, with whom he has sex, but whom he thoroughly despises. This kind of split in the anima between the Virgin Mary and the prostitute is typical for the mother complex. And such men then, if they have to approach a woman, they don't know how to do it, because the one they admire too much, she's too pure, you can't stretch out your hand and touch her. And the other is easily conquered, but no partner really, just something to have sex with. And such men have also in their own way trouble to relate to women because of that split anima situation.
So as I previously stated, a boy's anima is developed based on his view of his mother. So if a boy has a healthy image of his mother, then his anima is more likely to be integrated into his personhood. His feminine side is an actual part of his identity, the same way a woman's masculine side is a part of her identity. These are referred to as contrasexualities. So for the purpose of this video, we're only talking about men, because I'm trying to unpack their psychopathology. And it's not to say that I'm not a man, but obviously I'm in touch with my feminine side. So we don't need to have this discussion about, oh, you're putting black men in one category and yourself in another. That's not what I'm doing. So the development of the feminine side is crucial for the development of the masculine side. If a boy does not receive proper nurturing from his mother, he remains in a perpetual state of arrested development and does not progress into manhood. Now, that's not to blame the mother, but a mother's role is far more important in childhood development than a father's role. That's not to say that fathers don't have an equally important role, but we're talking about young children. The mother's role is to nurture young children, and the father's role is to socialize children as they get older and to integrate them into society. So, when a man is not in touch with his feminine side, the tendency is to idolize women. Women become foreign entities with qualities that men don't possess, or at least they think they don't possess these qualities. So, if the boy does not receive nurturing from his mother as a child, he continues seeking nurturing into adulthood. He also cannot see women as complete human beings. So because of his split anima, he sees women either as virgins or prostitutes. The ideal woman obviously is going to be the virgin. Again, because he's not in touch with his feminine side, he thinks that women possess qualities that he doesn't possess. So he sees himself as inferior to women. But not only himself, he sees all men as being inferior to women. The caveat is that he sees women as being superior only to the extent that they haven't been defiled by other men. There is a sense of virtue stealing that goes on. So when a man has sex with women, that adds to his virtue because he's essentially taking it from the woman. But when a woman has sex with men, she loses her virtue. So these males want women to possess virtue so that they can take it from them, discard them, and then move on and take some other woman's virtue. Because a man with a split anima is so disconnected from his feminine side, he values femininity far more than he values masculinity. Based on his black and white thinking that men are supposed to be all masculine and women are supposed to be all feminine, he does not think that men are desirable. To be desired is to be objectified. They don't think that men can be sexually objectified, at least not by women, because that is a feminine position. They will walk around shirtless with their pants falling off their asses, thinking that no one is supposed to look at them in a sexual manner. If you do find them attractive, something must be wrong with you. Conversely, if a woman wears revealing clothes, then she deserves to be raped. For lack of a better word, men are disgusting and only women can be desirable. Women who have been tainted by men also become disgusting. According to their worldview, men are not objects of desire. They should only be desired based on what they can do for women. So if a woman enjoys having sex with men for her own sake, she's automatically put in a category of the prostitute. Because in their minds, she should only be having sex with men to please men after they have earned it. Otherwise, why would you want to lay down with a disgusting man? Gay men are pathologized in a similar manner. Because they see men as being disgusting, they cannot understand why any man would find another man attractive. However, most of them have no problem being able to relate to women who find other women attractive. Again, men with split animas have black and white thinking. Women are either all good or all bad. You're either a virgin or you're a whore. This is the reason why Kanye West referred to Kim Kardashian as pure. His idolization of Kim Kardashian prevented him from being able to see her as a complete human being. But because he had a disfavorable opinion of Amber Rose, he put her in a category of being a prostitute. There is no middle ground. You're either a virgin or a prostitute. This all stems from their own inferiority complex. So if he cheats, it's supposed to be understood that he gets a free pass because he's just a disgusting man. But if you cheat, you're supposed to be held to a higher standard. Again, men gain virtue by sleeping with women, and women lose virtue by sleeping with men. Anytime a man tries to slut shame a woman, what he's really saying is that he sees himself and other men as disgusting, and he sees women as being superior to men. There are those who argue that women who have high body counts don't respect themselves. This position presupposes that women only have sex to please men. The thing that most men don't consider is how women get high body counts in the first place, because most women don't want to have high body counts. They start out thinking that they're saving themselves for Mr. Right. They think that they're going to fall in love with their first and live happily ever after. So the guy who they thought was Mr. Right manipulates her into giving up her virginity, Then he ends up leaving her for someone else. Of course, she still has that pair bond. Then to get over him, she has sex with someone else who she thinks is going to fix her. Someone who's going to take the pain away from the first one. Next thing you know, she's up to 10, then she's up to 20, and at that point, it doesn't even matter anymore. So if that first one didn't play games and actually married her, she wouldn't have a high body count. So they want to play games, and then they want to blame you for falling for it. Men don't consider how traumatic it is to think that you're saving yourself for the right one, and then you realize that the so-called right one is a piece of shit. Once you lose your virginity, you're never going to get it back. Because they have split animus, they cannot feel empathy for their feminine counterparts. It doesn't matter what they do, you're just supposed to be a virgin. Even if you get raped, that's your fault too. Now, many women want men who are all masculine. At least they portray themselves as being all masculine. That is not healthy. If a man is all masculine, which is impossible because everyone has a feminine side, it's either going to be healthy femininity or toxic femininity. Nevertheless, a man who portrays the masculine archetype is not a complete human being. He's going to look to you to fill the void. You're supposed to be the perfect depiction of femininity to complete him. If you deviate from that virginal archetype, he's going to resent you. Everyone has a sexual past. However, men don't want to know about it. Having children by other men is the surest way to throw your sexual past in a man's face. Many men can't handle it. And it's not just because they don't want to raise someone else's children. It's more than that. They want to pretend that you don't have a sexual history. The fact that you have children is a constant reminder that you're not a virgin. Even though they're not the perfect depiction of manhood, they still want you to be the perfect depiction of womanhood. Then they're going to use some backward reasoning to explain that your imperfect womanhood is the justification for their imperfect manhood. So if you were a virgin, if you were more nurturing, they would be more motivated to be better men. So they're going to constantly look for women to fill the void. No woman is ever going to be able to complete a man. Similarly, no man can complete a woman. So unless you are already a complete human being going into a relationship, it's probably not going to work. Thanks for your support. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload new content.